I saw Crimson Desert reviews dropping. I was kind of surprised by it. Okay, I saw these things going around quite a bit, these reviews, and people are kind of like questioning it. And this is my take. So this is a review in progress that IGN has dropped for Crimson Desert, okay? Crimson Desert review so far, and they're saying that it's not final. They're saying if we had to score it now, they will give it a 6. It says it's not final, but for now, they have given it a 6. So everyone's like, oh shit, the game is bad. And some of these scores are like pretty mediocre or bad or misleading. It's been affecting Pearl Abyss, who are the developers of Crimson Desert. Their shares dropped nearly 30% because of the disappointing reviews. And I think it's a problem. IGN reviews should not be taken at face value because they are most of the time pretty fucking inaccurate, because most of the time these reviews are done by people who shouldn't be playing that game. They don't get it and they just don't end up clicking with it and they give it a bad score. Or it goes the other way. It's like they give really good scores to bad games. You should really take the time and do your research before you take these scores at face value, because they can be pretty fucking misleading. I'll give you an example. Do you know that IGN gave Concord a 7? IGN gave Concord a 7. I'm not kidding. Concord IGN review. I'm gonna look it up right now. Concord review. They gave it a fucking 7 and they called it good. Concord is a very fun sci-fi hero shooter that shows real promise but lacks both innovation and content at launch. But they still gave it a 7. That's my point, okay? That's not all. They gave another game a 7. Can you guess what it is? Yeah, of course I'm talking about High Guard. They gave High Guard a 7 as well, and we have all played it. It's good, but it's not 7 out of 10 good. It didn't even last a whole of 2-3 months. It's now delisted. It's gone. And people are getting refunds for all the cash they spent on it. So yeah, they gave it a 7. High Guard's compelling gunplay makes it unique raid mode quite memorable, even if the version we have right now feels a bit like a rough draft. But they still gave it a 7. Here's another one. They gave Dragon Age the Veil Guard, which is not a really bad game or anything, but they gave it a fucking 9 out of 10. They called Dragon Age the Veilguard amazing. And it said, Dragon Age the Veilguard refreshes and reinvigorate the storied series with enjoyable action combat and fantastic cast of companies and moving character writing. This game was mid at best. This is my point. They gave it Where Winds Meet, which is enjoyed by millions of people as of right now. It's a free-to-play game. They gave it a 6. So this is the review score system that I'm questioning right now. And the same people are giving Crimson Desert a 6. So I'm obviously not going to take it at face value and be fine with it. I honestly think you gotta either watch some Twitch streams or Kick streams, or watch some gameplay videos or play for yourself before you decide whether it's worth or not. Because as far as I have seen from people who actually played the game, the verdict has been it takes like 8 to 10 to 12 hours, something like that, to get into the game, because the first like 8 to 10 hours is purely you learning how to play the game, because there's so much depth to it, which is not unheard of for JRPGs like this. It's essentially, this is a JRPG. This is made by people who made Black Desert Online, which is a JRPG in the sense. Of course, the setting is not a JRPG. It's like more like realistic looking, kind of like a a Viking vibe to it. But at the core, this plays out like a JRPG. So there's a lot of depth to it. There's a lot of nuances to it. Steep, very long learning curve to it. KCD had the same thing. Like if you gave up playing it before you spend like a good couple of days on it, you would not like the game. There's like a point that you need to get to before you start actually enjoying the game. Unfortunately, there are games like that. And it doesn't mean the game is hard or anything. It's just there's a learning curve. There are systems at play that are intertwined that you need to learn how to use, because this is a sandbox essentially that you need to learn how to use. It's like learning how to use a software, right? Kind of like that. A game is a software. that you need to learn. And some games are easier to pick up and some games are not. And this is just one of those games that's just not easy to pick up and relies on your muscle memory, you knowing which button to press rather than button smashing your way through the game. It needs patience, and it is not for everyone. That much I can say. It's like Souls-like games. Souls-like games are not for everybody. And the problem with IGN is that they just probably assign a random person to do the review, and that person is not the right person to review the game. The games have become so nuanced and so different, very specific to specific genres now. If you don't assign the correct person to do the review for a specific game, you're just gonna get a bad review. If you are a kind of person who loves playing games like exclusively enjoy playing easy to play games like, you know, Assassin's Creed, that does a lot of hand holding and very easy to pick up and play, you're not gonna enjoy this game though, because this game does not hold your hand. It just releases you into the world and lets you figure it out on your own, which is great if you love that kind of shit. It relies you to explore the game and figure shit out most of the time. They're both open world action adventure games, but very different in mechanical sense. So you just gotta make sure that you assign the correct person to it. Anyway, so this is a public service announcement. So if you've seen these reviews, don't judge the game by these fucking reviews. Either watch the gameplay, decide for yourself how it is, or try it out and then decide. That's all I would say.